So 4 types of answers I am getting on Weber. If I look at the answers which I evaluated, number 1, if you are a beginner, this is a common error with your answer. You know the theory, but not the answer. So you've read Weber from me or a book or whatever, and you do not know what is the answer, what is the contemporary relevance of Weber's industrial location model. You're probably operating at Weber's model, perfectly okay. That is a stage to be in. That is the stage for a beginner. Please do not lose confidence. I have seen many people losing confidence that others are better than me. You are at this stage. The people who have topped, the people you saw me talking to, they were probably at this stage to begin with. Nothing wrong with that. Type 2 has the content of the answer but unable to answer. Now these are the people who are the most common in number. Sir, I know the answer. Sir, I know the answer, but I am not able to write it down. This is where, especially people who have completed their syllabus and who are serious about main examination. I am not talking about prelims. I would not say, a person who just thought of civil services should start writing answers. No, you should not. You should think, you should first prepare. Now you have the content. You are a person who has the content but unable to write. Generally, I have written, you are a beginner, but I have seen many veterans after repeated attempts because they never paid attention to writing or nobody actually evaluated them. That also is a problem. What I am saying is theoretical right now. I will show you the samples for that. So this is going to be a quick session, Q&A session, which is a tradition in human geography curriculum program, that first we have that session and then we go for that. Third one, type 3, has the content of answer but unable to structure it. Generally a person like this is a veteran. Veteran means, I would not say he has given multiple attempts, but he has probably given at least one attempt or probably given at least 1 year for preparation. 1 year for preparation to complete the content. But now he or she is struggling with whatever content they have, they are not able to arrange it, structure it as per the requirement of the question. First two, type 1 and type 2, they are low on evolution. My invitation to them is, please read again and think. Do not just be happy that you have some notes. Think, apply. For type 3 people, you need practice. You are there, you have thinking also. You have the content also, but you need what? Practice. And practice in what? Practice in getting the structure right. Practice in making the answer flow from one point to another in a very seamless manner as per the demand of the question. You have to practice to find out your flaws, get yourself evaluated and correct them. And how do you practice or how do you improve? That is type 4. Type 4 helps you improve because that answer has content, information, so that person has read it, content and information is also there, structure is also there. Structure means the flow, and the wisdom. Wisdom is also there, so the examiner when he reads, he says, wow, this person has not just vomited some content from some book or some coaching notes. This person has applied, and he's applied his fresh self, because every answer is unique by. How can it be the same thing? And then the examiner wants to give him or her the maximum marks. Can you see, I have not written a veteran over here or a beginner over here. My experience of last 15 years, even freshers have surprised me. Some people have this natural knack of looking at content, understanding and thinking about it. They are not in fear of mugging up certain things. They are not looking for some ready-made answers. They are comfortable with the thing that I don't know it, okay, I'll read it. And when I read it, okay, I've understood it. What is the question? Tell me the question. And they naturally can see, okay, if I write this, I will be writing that. And in the end, or probably in the answer itself, they are somewhere able to tell the examiner, hello sir, I am not just writing it for fun. I want to be an IAS officer, give me the best marks. Now that's a message which is very implicit. If you are able to send across to your examiner, nothing like that. You choose, whosoever you are. You choose which category you are. There are 4 categories, and I am again saying, I do not know whether you have been evaluated by a teacher or not. At ALS, the teacher evaluates you. Very, very important, and I know which category my student is, and then we customize that. Get that? So let's look at some of the answers. Let the answers do the talking, not Sachin sir. Type 1 answer. Let me go out of the screen. Can you be the evaluator for some time? Sorry, I came on the screen. Yes, now the answer is there. Examine the contemporary relevance of the Weber's industrial model. So the question has not explicitly asked you the model. The question is asking you its contemporary relevance. Where does it apply? Does it apply? Is it positive or negative? Where is it? Contemporarily, where do you see it? Yes. Where do you see the tenets of it, the assumptions of it, the pronouncements of this? So, examine contemporary relevance. Weber's industrial location is one of the earliest attempts to quantify. The theory aimed to identify optimal location on an isotropic surface, uniform distribution of resources, geographically fixed labor. Remember, this is what I told you, these were the assumptions of the theory. Why is this student writing it? Because he's a fresher, he's afraid. He thinks whatever sir said has to be written. He is not bothered about the question. Type 1 student. In identifying optimal location, he gave undue importance to transportation. However, with advancement in technology development, railway, waterway, airway, no longer proportional to distance. I do not know. This is again coming from notes, trying to show me that the cost of transportation changes would not apply over here. Would not apply over here. Get that? But still, it's an attempt. I am respecting that. Weber treated cost of labor as fixed parameter, but he never treated cost of labor as fixed. He treated labor as fixed. Remember, labor is not uniformly available. It is at certain fixed points. So that's an error. Beginners make this error. Certain factors such as government policies available to the capital, technological development were ignored by him. Despite its inherent limitation, pioneering work of Weber remained guiding principle. Where is the contemporary relevance? So what have I written? Just to encourage this boy or girl, good elementary answer, not a high scoring answer. Listen to the discussion. So my invitation to this student, and deliberately you know that I do not disclose any of the names, so please don't be personal. This is the second type. What was type 2? People who have forgotten type 2. So let me bring back type 2. Type 2 is has the content of the answer but unable to answer. So somewhere confused, somewhere confused. This is the most common answer which you will get. So the location of industry across the world are determined by various factors. In the quest to quantify, Weber gave the theory which emphasized on this. Okay, industries can deviate from such location if the cheap labor or agglomeration is there. While formulating the theory, many assumptions were made. Weber, which are quite unrealistic, attracted criticism. In spite of all criticism, the contemporary relevance can be explained as follows. So, this is a person who has given half a page, more than half a page to this whole thing. It's okay to give something, but there could have been a better way of doing it. So I said this person knows the answer. This person knows the answer, but somewhere confused what all to write. So location of industry based on transport. In case of raw material is fixed and gross, if the raw material is gross, its transportation will incur. Now remember this fixed and gross debate. This was in the class because I was explaining many things to you. I was explaining the nature of raw material. But this question doesn't have the scope of talking about nature of raw material. It will be a problem if we are focusing on nature of raw material. I said this person knows the answer. This person knows the answer but is confused. Most of you, be honest and be okay with it. It's absolutely okay. This is the first stage. I am glad that this boy or girl is making that first stage. No teacher is taking that pain to tell you which stage you are. Yaar. Come on, benefit from that. So first page has gone, first page is over, but no answer has come. The examiner loses faith in you when it happens. Steel plant in Vishveshwaraya, steel plant are such examples. Okay, so raw material attracts that. The person is trying to give examples also. That's a good thing. In case raw material is fixed and pure. Now this again, last time like it was raw material fixed and gross, pure. This is stuck to the notes. This was not needed. You are unnecessarily making the length of the answer more. Distribution of industries because of cheap labor. With globalization, labor has become mobile, so the aspect is not as much relevant today. Okay, perfect. So that point has been taken. So I said this person knows the answer, this point is taken. Redistribution of industries because of agglomeration. So agglomeration happens, so industries come together. The agglomeration of IT industries in Silicon Valley validates this point. Now when we are talking of IT industry, I think he was talking more about manufacturing industries. Remember raw material, transport cost. So agglomeration you are bringing in. So you would bring in agglomeration not in the context of his industries, but agglomeration is there. Get that? So his industries were more on that, but IT industry, instead of IT industry, remember I gave you a case study of movement of electronics industries, electrical and electronic industries to the west coast of USA because of US Navy taking a base on San Diego. Remember that case study? So that is more of an agglomeration. I deliberately gave you that case study. And then suddenly the answer ends. So I write, but you have told only the theory. Where is the contemporary relevance? This person also has been invited to listen to the discussion. A fresher, it's absolutely okay. And especially whosoever you are. Please, you have put in a lot of effort. Salute to your efforts, everything there. It's just that if you are able to right direct it, you're going to be the topper. I want you to be the topper. Let's look at this answer. Everyone, let me go out of the screen once again. This is type 3. Who are type 3 people? Type 3 answers have the content. These are veterans, but unable to structure it. The wisdom is somewhere, like it has to be acquired. It is somewhere missing. It is somewhere missing. Not that these answers are bad. These are good answers. So can you look at it? The first look of this answer. The first look of this answer, there is a world map with a heading relocation of industry, contemporary relevance of Weber. So the person looks on target. Can you see the difference between a veteran's answer and a beginner's answer? So if you are a veteran, earn respect of the examiner. Do not be tied down to some book or notes. If the examiner can see you that you are a veteran, he will give you that respect. Don't run away from the examiner. Don't hide yourself just like an ostrich burying your head in the sand. No, I know it all, I'll prove it. Won't happen. We are looking at that. So there is someone who's looking at that. So these two answers which I am going to show are good answers. So the idea of cost saving manifest in the least cost location of Weber is one of the fundamental tenets of any business. Oh, that's good. So he's saying Weber is relevant? No. Because Weber was talking about cost saving. So it is there. However, in contemporary times, business decisions on relocation are driven by strategic consideration, cost cutting being one of them. So what Weber said was only one of the factors. So this person wants to give me something else. So he says relocation of US industries from China to Southeast Asia, example Vietnam, US after trade war. Oh wow. So he says US-China trade war is causing the industry to shift. This was never there. Okay. Location of Google, Facebook in Ireland to evade taxation. Okay, that's great. So he has taken example of Google and Facebook to evade taxation. But again, we will be looking at manufacturing industry. I think this US-China trade war is more on that. Get that? Relocation of industry in Africa for cheap land, cheap labor, low cost of production. So yes, cost of production, that is why they are going over there, makes sense. So the diagram or the map is innovative. Trust me, these maps are not there in any book. So the person must be given credit for that. Get that? Okay, perfect. So he has worked on that. So what does he write? So he or she writes relocation to save labor. Weber's visualization of critical isodapane, remember critical isodapane? See, the veteran will use such terms. Veteran will use such terms which the beginners will not. Beginners will be talking about raw material. Veteran will be talking about isodapane. Let me make this bigger so that all of you can also read it. Within this, to maximize cost still holds contemporary relevance. Okay, the isodapanes are there. For automotive industries from the US have relocated to Mexico. So as long as you are in that isodapane and relocation from US to Mexico, automotive industry makes sense here. Good example. Good example. Similarly, India pharmaceutical companies have relocated to African nations like Kenya and Namibia because of the low cost of operation, cheap land, cheap labor. Okay. So this is US, Mexico. Can you see critical isodapane has been made and then the person moves over here. All the veterans who are listening to me, you can borrow from here. If you heard the toppers, remember we were talking about, Ajay Jain was talking about it. He said MasterStroke gives us everything what we need. All new innovations come in there. Use them, no? relocation to save taxes. So this is an idea which has come, relocation to save taxes. Although Weber did not visualize this in his theory, but tax saving strategy is a big one. Several US companies shifting to Ireland, Liechtenstein. Okay, perfect. What is this? Relocation pertaining to politico-economic factor. So politico-economic, apart from that cost saving, we are looking at politico, so Mauritius to save taxes, Indian companies shifting there, Indian companies shifting bases. I think here politico-administrative SEZ would have been a good idea, creation of SEZs. So those are special zones which he was not talking about. He was just talking about least cost of transportation, but those ideas were new. Yes, politico-economic trade wars. Okay, the person has shown us in map also. Relocation pertaining to agglomeration. So he's talked about labor cost also. He has talked about transport cost also. Now he is coming to agglomeration. So certain industries such as automobile, food processing industries benefit from the hub and spoke model. You will find veterans using this language, hub and spoke. It's absolutely okay. Such agglomeratives can be seen in Detroit, Dharwad, Manesar belt. Sorry, not Dharwad. This is something spelling mistake. It is Dharuheda. So the error over there. India is trying to promote a similar approach, food processing industry, especially in hub and spoke model is also there, although in its pristine form. Now the word pristine is a little literary word. English literature mate looks. So I know you wanted to say in its pure form, but then you've used the word pristine. I've just put a circle over there. Weber's locational theory might be dismissed as generalistic. It must be credited for its ideas of least cost. Now good try. This person, I am sure people who have geography optional and who see this answer, they would say, okay, yeah, good ideas I can take from here. But I personally feel that this person is more example centric than coming to the core of the answer. I as an evaluator did not get my answer. I got innovations in this. So person has innovations. Very good. Very good try. Good inquiry into examples and case studies to support. But more arguments or dimensions were needed because the question scope was bigger. I said these are what category student? Type 3 student. Type 3 student is a veteran. He knows it. He has the language. He has the content. But something was missing. I don't know. I keep on telling my students that if you want the realistic assessment of what you are writing, you should be able to be an evaluator. And not an evaluator under Mahatma Gandhi, Narega, joining some coaching institute, checking those DS copies and all those things. No. Seriously, you want to clear the examination, you should be able to look at your flaws. Don't run away from your flaws. If somebody shows you flaws, he is your friend, not your enemy. Anyways, so can you see that despite innovation, good things, you like this answer? This is slightly less than 50%. So when an answer is okay, close to the expectation of the examiner, an unbiased examiner is willing to give you 50%. But if you go beyond his expectation, that's where he goes for 60%. That's where you are going for 300 plus scores. 300 don't come easy. Let's look at another answer. So first, the look of this answer. Does it look mature? Just the look of it. Some diagrams, something is there, well written, some headings are there. Makes sense here. Makes good sense. Veteran's answer will always look better. Let us read also. Examine the contemporary significance of Weber's industrial location theory. Despite being an early 20th century pioneering work, Weber's theory continues to shed light on the basic principles that govern industrial location, namely minimizing production cost, cost-benefit analysis, and seeking agglomeration. Good. Mature paragraph. No nonsense. Talking about significance as a bedrock for future theories. Okay, so he says the significance lies that it is a pioneering work. So pioneering work means other theories will be based on that. And can you see a good use of English language also? Bedrock for future theories. His theory established that in order to generalize, certain simplifying assumptions are needed. This applies to all future generalization, and the efficacy needs to be studied within those. Okay. Tools to theorize. So first he says assumptions will be there, then he used tools. What were the tools? Mathematical construction, geometric figures like triangulation, vector analysis. Just to show the examiner, he shows some triangulation methods also. then the critical isodapane also, then he goes for the Verignon polygon method of Gilbert, where he brings in that balancing of a vector polygon also. Good, makes sense. The person has content. You cannot say that this person does not know it. So he says all these tools are available, and he has used it, others were also using it. Very good. So 1 point should be given, credit. Good. Concept of redistribution. He was able to touch upon the non-static nature of industry. So industries do not stick to one place, they can be moving. They're in response to spatial opportunities, favorable economics. You can see agglomeration due to cheap labor, and remember, for agglomeration you need that critical isodapanes to overlap. The phenomena of agglomeration. Did you see that this person is a veteran, has not wasted time on weight losing, weight gaining, case 1, case 2, scenario 1, scenario 2. Case and scenario, they were given to you in the class. They were given to you in the class here. They were there to explain you. I was doing that. Okay. So that is the agglomeration. Integrating new factors. Newer factors like demand and supply, government policy, technology, labor mobility can be seamlessly integrated with this theory without any principal alteration. So the theory in itself is okay. Get that? But I feel that it is not talking about more things which have to be given. Works of D.M. Smith using cost isoplates, contours to find spatial margins, and Hoover's long haul advantage is a case in point for future modification. So he is not only saying that, he says that people in future used it as for modification. But wasn't this the same point when he said bedrock for future theories? Isn't the same point being repeated somewhere here? I need more. I need more. Despite its shortcoming, this theory continues to inform the contemporary and location. So well structured, directed, but support to arguments can be improved. Need some special case studies also, support also. And can you see this one, the previous one's innovations, if we mix the two answers, everyone, if we mix the two answers, the answer which the previous veteran had written, the answer which this veteran is writing, if we mix them, the good qualities of both of them, will they add to the answer or not? So they are getting around 7.2, they are getting around 45 to 50% is the bracket that they will operate on. I like the structure of this answer better than the previous one. Previous one was more on collection of examples and case studies. This person has arguments, but I believe the arguments are limited. There was much more that could have been done. There was much more that could have been done. So everyone, civil services examination preparation is not just an examination. It is a journey towards a dream. And my 15 years of experience has told me that people who have seen this dream have made persistent effort, baby steps, learnt, improved in the process, and cleared the examination. It did not matter to them whether it happened in 1 attempt or 2 attempts. But whatever they were doing, with every passing attempt, with every passing answer, I would say, they were improving. So what I showed you just now, these are not bad answers. I am not criticizing them. I am correcting them. This is called corrective feedback. Learn to take that. It is a very sad thing that people don't even take these things. And what people want in the classes is just some dictation. I am very sure some of you listening to me right now in the program, why is he not teaching? But the tradition in all my programs is, first we look at the answer. What's the point? You did not even write the answer here. And you think that you would have content because Sachin Sir dictated it and you will go in the examination and blast the examiner. First blast me with your answer. And I want to tell you how beautiful a good answer can be, how satisfying a good answer can be, will be experienced by you right now when you read that type 4 answer. Type 4 answer will have maturity. Type 4 answer will have comprehensiveness. In fact, you would want to retain that type 4 answer. Wow, let this be the notes. Whatever notes I made, they are bekar. So let's see what is the next answer. Type 4. Can be a fresher, can be a veteran. First, the look of it. Headings are there, maps are there. Okay, does make sense. How many pages? 2 pages? Oh, 2 pages only. 2 pages and a little bit more. So within 2 pages. In the examination, you will get around 2 and a half pages will be there. 2.5 pages will be there. So all the students who are listening to me, all my program participants, this is pure gold. So make sure you don't collect them, you also learn to write them. Let us look at it. Examine the contemporary relevance of this theory. So should I? The early beginnings of quantification in geography led to the influence of multiple disciplines in the subject that resulted in generalized and deductive Weber's industrial location model. A genuine use of perspectives in this. No try to call it space-time geography. No try to call it radical geography or postmodern geography, which some of you have thought that the examiner is a fool, he doesn't know it, only you know postmodernism and your teacher knows postmodernism. But the examiner knows everything. Your teacher learnt it later, the examiner is so old, he learnt it much before. You to not even know what postmodernism is. तुम्हारी तो हाल ही की मोहब्बत है, जुम्मा चुम्मा, बस उतनी मोहब्बत हुई है, 3 महीने में geography पढ़ा है. You've read geography in 2-3 months and that's your love affair with geography. So rather than pretending, this person is writing perspective in a very genuine sense. Get that? Let me continue. And sorry for deviation, so let me not spoil the answer by intervening in between. The early beginnings of quantification in geography led to the influence of multiple disciplines in the subject that resulted in generalized and deductive Weber's industrial location theory. Now what this person is doing, setting a context of the answer. The model is based on least cost theory for industrial location, whose principles and factors of distribution are relevant in contemporary times. Remember, the question is contemporary times. The person has come within his second sentence, he has come to the topic. Did we see the beginner took more than half a page, not even come to the topic? The person has already come. Second sentence, he is saying contemporary relevance, but also in a contradictory in current times due to certain assumptions, focus of approach and lack of inclusion of other factors. The contemporary relevance can be seen as follows. So where all this theory is applicable and where all this theory is non-applicable, this is what the headings this person has used. So applicable. He says the basic principles are still applicable. The model was very sensible. It concentrated on transport labor cost. Even till today, Jamshedpur Iron and Steel Plant, this is important because it helps in saving overall cost. Make sense? Basic principle. Role of factor of distribution. The role of labor, skilled labor plays major role in relocation of industry. Apart from that, the model also talks about agglomeration, which helps giving isodapane. And can you see, he has talked about Indian example, he has made a world map also, and he has shown isodapane about industry also. Yes, he has not talked about Google going to Ireland, he has not talked about US-China trade wars, he has not. I agree on that. This person can also pick it up. But whatever he has done is better. Because rather than being a freak, rather than trying to artificially impress the examiner, the person is being on the point. Whosoever you are, if you know this answer, I am sure you would appreciate. This enriches the discipline. It also helps in adoption of new techniques, approach due to process some loopholes that needs to be overcome. I think the answer which we read just before this was focusing more on how it enriches the discipline. And I think the answer we read before was doing very good justice, but he was doing justice only to enriching of the discipline. However, the pioneering work has its problem and there is non-applicability also. So assumptions of the theory made it difficult to apply. Presence of isotropic plane, rational economic man is not observed in contemporary times. Demands changes according to the physiography and perception of choice of man. You can see assumption not appreciated. Brandt line indicates no perfect competition. So remember, there was an assumption that there is perfect competition. He says no, north and south. Remember the division of the world into north and south, Brandt line. Now this is applying economic geography to this answer. Good, innovation. Demand and a new movement of labor also changes. Can you see movement of labor? Migration, he said fixed labor. So that's good. The person is sticking. This is wisdom. Not trying to be freak. Wisdom. Taking the examples also. Very correct examples. Emergence of other approaches. Apart from the least cost theory, there are theories which are about profit maximization. We were talking about that. So there are many other theories. So we were looking at the previous answer telling us something about other theories also. DM Smith cost isoplets were used, Hoover's long haul advantage, all those things are there. But this person feels that my answer is there. He could have put in some names, but he sticks to that. Industries are also dependent upon other factors other than these things. Terrain, topography, labor availability, they vary due to technology, political stability, surrounding environment, and then you can see climate, he says skilled labor, conflict, terrain. Can you see the person is very comprehensive? Wisdom, lacks focus. The major focus of Weber's theory is on manufacturing industry, ignoring services industry which play a major role in economic development. This work is more deterministic. Remember, when you are caught in certain things, that's more deterministic and lacks some possibilistic aspect that need upgradation in the current time. So I believe that the conclusion could have been made more emphatic because the person has written well, and conclusion leaves that lasting taste on the examiner, because after this the examiner is going to pick up his or her pen and give you marks. So well structured, shows maturity, answer sticks to the demand of the question, answer tries to examine, veterans are mostly describing the theory. This answer examined the theory, why, how, why not, how not. Answer is well supported by examples and illustrations. Quality of an answer, I have not given him 60% because 60 could have been 60 would have been 9 out of 15. So I could have given him 8.3 also, 8.4 also. I think the something towards the end would have been there. And remember, some ideas which were included by these two candidates, they were good. So when a teacher is evaluating you, I want to tell you, in UPSC main examination, the evaluation is subjective. The examiner is hungry. If the examiner has already got the taste of newer things, would he want them to be there or not? So I've been a little strict when I evaluate in my test series or in my human geography curriculum or any of my programs. I keep a little on the tighter side, so instead of giving 60%, I would give 55%, but I would definitely acknowledge that this person is above 50, telling that you have crossed the expectation of the examiner. That is a teacher's way of guiding also the student and not letting the student be complacent also. So I think we have given around 35 minutes to this discussion. So if you have any questions, this is our question and answer session. After this, I will be going for our next one will be where we had left yesterday, theories of regional development.